Rosewood, Florida, which is basically in the middle of nowhere. If anybody's not familiar with Rosewood, Florida, it was a predominantly black neighborhood created by black people who was thriving for independence here in America, in Florida. And in January 1st through 7th, a race riot broke out, or actually a terrorist attack of white people began to attack black people because a white woman had lied and said that she was raped by a black man, which that was not actually the case. And just driving out here, it's very secluded, and you can feel the tension. Our ancestors had to hide for weeks in these bushes. They had to hide why this terrorist attack was taking place to them and to their children. Many people of African descent, or African people, excuse me, were killed during this race riot for this false accusation. And one of the things that I want to implement, or one of the things that I want to say in regards to that, is that when we don't study history effectively, we're one block away from another incident like Rosewood. Because Rosewood is no different from Tulsa, Oklahoma. One of the things that we constantly have been misinformed about is proper protection. We talk about economics today, and Rosewood is a prime example of what black economics could do. But one thing we don't talk about enough is defense of economics. Black people do not talk about defense of self enough. We do not understand the concept that economics and defense go hand in hand. America is not the greatest nation because it has economical success. America is the greatest nation because it has economics and defense. See, you could have the money, but can you defend the money? You get what I'm saying? You can have the assets, but can you defend them? So Rosewood and Tulsa, Oklahoma, and any other neighborhood that was destroyed, by these race soldiers, by these terrorists, they were only able to do so because we didn't have proper defense. One of the things I was reading about in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in that situation, is that when the terrorist attack began to take place, a lot of people in Tulsa started to go to these gun shops to get arms, and the white dealers were denying them because they waited to the last minute to properly get defenses. So understanding your history also is very, very fundamental in understanding who you and what you are today, and also knowing what not to make those mistakes that our ancestors made. Because history is not defined by telling us that we were kings and queens, but history should be defined by showing us how we fell from being kings and queens, how these situations like Rosewood happened, how Tulsa, Oklahoma happened, and any other neighborhood that you can name that was black owned that was attacked by race soldiers. And then when you read books like Chancellor Williams, and he talks about how certain parts of Africa fell, right? We have to study these things because history is not just name dates and events and things like that. It's a total comprising story that needs to be told and understood. And so we stand here today in memory of our ancestors in Rosewood, Florida, with the heaviest of hearts, because they killed women, they killed children with disregard, they burnt, they lynched our people out here, and it's desolate. And I can just imagine, I'm getting bit up, and I can imagine our people having to hide in these woods as these race soldiers terrorized them and killed them for no good reason other than a false accusation. So I say, black people, defend yourself. Make sure you practice your amendments, okay? Make sure you properly understand that the law of self-defense is universal. No white man can give you a piece of paper and say, now you can defend yourself. The law of self-defense is universal, period. So I'm gonna get out of here before I become fodder for these mosquitoes, because they are killing me out here. But again, man, we stand here, and I'm gonna pour libations for the ancestors that lived and died here. Peace and black power.